have one more person that joined.
Okay, they can see what you're doing.
I know. this is what we're all about.
Yeah,
we're
straight live.
We are raw and we're candid.
Raw and uncut.
We're like carrots, just like, here you go. Here's a carrot.
Carrots are raw and candid?
They're raw and uncut. Have you seen a bag of carrots?
Yeah. But I usually stick to baby carrots because they're easier to eat.
It's still raw.
You don't have to cut them.
It's still raw.
That shaving stuff because the grocery store does it for you. Whoever somewhere in the background that doesn't.
But it's still raw. That's my point. And it's not cut.
I don't even know. But my bottom line is that I think people are listening now, and we should stop talking nonsense.
This is the Elevated Grapes Podcast.
Elevated Grapes Podcast.
With your host, Sethi.
Your host, Sethi.
And Stylist Rashi Bindra.
It's time to get started.
Let's talk fashion, shall we?
What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining in. I think we have like 5 people, so I think that's good enough to start with. And if they want to stick around, they'll stick around. Can we just ask if you guys can hear us? Because we have all the mics and everything set up. If someone can just be like, yeah, we can hear you, or someone be like...
Like wave or something.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
Or maybe you can put something in and just ask if people can hear us, if they are not responding. Because that means they probably can't hear us. We're holding because we're checking...
Yes, we can.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a good sign.
I know who said that, and I love her. Okay, cool, great, awesome.
Well, welcome to the first Elevated Grapes podcast. So, just a little bit of background on what we're doing. I'm your host, Sethi, as you may or may not have seen on our page. I'm the wacko guy in the pictures doing stuff like this. And I do that on the regular. And this is Stylist Rashi Bindra.
I have to actually talk about myself now?
Absolutely.
Okay, this is great.
I'm not going to give you your credentials and read stuff out. She gave me a piece of paper to write. I'm not doing it.
That's not true, by the way. I'm a fashion stylist, and I'm pretty sure you've seen me on his page and on Elevated Grapes just going like this the entire time. So that's really who I am. So.
Perfect. And that's the reaction I'm looking for every single time. So what we're doing with the podcast is it's kind of interesting. We thought our goal is to try to make it as interactive as possible, because a lot of podcasts you see, it's someone talking to a mic and you hear about it later. Whereas we would rather have it with people watching, so that if there's any questions or conversation, we want to engage with the people that are watching and have it live, have them ask questions, have them give their input, because we may be giving some input that you think, well, we don't agree with that doesn't make sense. Or you may be like, hey, I've never heard something so brilliant in my life. And then you write it down, and then forever it's engraved. And
that's probably my idea, but sure. Mm-hmm.
We're going to pause for a moment. Just so you all can see what conversations go on a daily basis when you're trying to be normal and serious. This happens.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay. So Elevated Grapes, for those again who don't know, is basically a 3-tiered media platform that we've set up. Yeah, media platform we've set up. So the first one is the podcast that we're doing. They're going to be fashion-based with a focus on men's styling. We'll be live on Instagram when we post them, when we do them, and then we'll post them a week later on YouTube, on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music, or /iTunes, whatever you want to call it.
No, not Apple Music, like I said last time.
No, you said Apple Tunes.
Oh, Apple Tunes. See, tunes.
Apple Tunes. So we do ask that if you to go sign up on our YouTube channel so you can view it there afterwards as well. And anything that we reference in the podcast, where if we're referencing in a specific graphic or a specific event or a picture or whatever the case, we'll actually put it on our Facebook channel, so that if you're now listening there's a recorded version on Spotify or Apple Tunes or YouTube, then you have full access to the visuals, so you can follow along with some of the conversation. So that's on the podcast side. The goal at the end here is to build a TV show that will be focused on men's styling from every walk of life. So it's not a high fashion, high glam type of styling session. It's more about every day. So the person who's sort of working retail, the person who's working corporate, the person who's working in trades, the person who's sort of working, sort of an office job or a lawyer, whatever the walk of life is. We want to work with various different walks of life, help them to find a style that suits their personality, their lifestyle, and sort of, works with who they are, but still gives them a little bit of an edge. And then the last part.
And then the last part of our whole like Elevated Grapes fashion platform is that we will be showing what it is to like attend fashion events. What's it like to do a photo shoot? The weird stuff that happens during like all of that, like those moments. It's all access. It's all behind the scenes. There's nothing really hidden. Like nothing's really scripted. It is who we are, how we are, in the awkward and uncomfortable situations that we do end up in sometimes. And then sometimes it's just easy breezy, we're just having fun. So you get to see everything, basically.
And the really fun part about it, for those that will end up seeing those videos, is Rashi makes a lot of weird noises. And you get to see them. We point them out on a lot of our videos. So even just for anything else, it's worthwhile watching some of those videos for that.
Wow. What the hell?
So all those will be on our YouTube channel, and will be posted as we attend the events. The podcast will be once a month. And the TV show series, we will start eventually, but we sort of want to build our foundation for the TV show, and we're in the process of doing that. So some of those journey items you will see. The other thing that we're gonna do at the beginning of every... Actually, wait, before I get into that...
Hold on, we have one comment.
Oh.
And it is, yes for weird noises, ha ha ha. Well, thank you very much.
Many weird noises.
I think I will take that as a compliment right now.
If that's what you want to do. So let's actually, before we get into the first topic at hand, let's sort of talk about really interesting things that have happened behind the scenes as we were sort of building the idea of the podcast. We actually got to partner up with a really cool group. So I'll let you talk about that.
So I'm very, very, very excited and very happy to say that our official sponsor for all our giveaways that is going to happen during every episode that we have is Fashion Foundry. Fashion Foundry, they are a global fashion PR firm. So they are in Toronto, they represent Miami, Hong Kong, even New York. So I'm super excited that we have them on board with us for this fashion platform that we are building, and you guys will get to see what the giveaways are later.
So that means you actually can't leave if you're watching live, because we actually do have giveaways and we'll tell you how you can get them.
And it's actually really cool. I have one of them and it's actually really cool.
Yeah, she's trying to keep all the giveaways, and I'm like, listen, we have people that we want to have giveaways for, so you can't keep them all. So yeah, so Fashion Foundry is really cool. Thank you to them for partnering with us. So they'll be doing the giveaways or helping us to manage the giveaways for all of our episodes, or podcasts. Do you want to give them their Instagram handle?
Their Instagram is Fashion Foundry Official, and what we'll do is when we post our recap, we will put all their links down on our Instagram, on our Facebook page, and YouTube, and so forth as well.
Absolutely. And the other thing that we want to mention before we jump into a couple of topics is these guys right here. If you can see it.
It's actually really cool. They're pretty yummy.
Yeah. So what they are is, the company's called Eatable Inc. on Instagram, at Eatable Inc. And it's alcohol-infused popcorn. And that's always fun. So we'll be snacking on that throughout the podcast. Hopefully we're still able to talk midway through.
Do you want to tell them what flavor this is actually?
Mm-hmm. So the one we've opened up today for this session is called Merlot, Poppin' Merlot. So very nice. It's sweet, but not too sweet.
And it works with the whole Elevated Grapes podcast. Right? Like our love for wine in popcorn form.
That's it. So check them out at Eatable Inc. So a couple of mentions there. Now I think before we sort of get into the men's styling piece, I want to have a conversation about one of my favorite topics from all week, which has been Met Gala. So, Met Gala. I am by no means a high fashion stylist. I like to work with day to day, like we mentioned, what the show's gonna be about, styling folks for their everyday life. So high fashion is a whole different ball game, which is outside of my scope. But Met Gala is like the extreme of a high fashion.
It's not that extreme. I think once you understand the theme and what they're going for, and if those who follow fashion or those who follow Met Gala every year, there's a theme to it. There's a purpose why everyone's dressing the way they're dressing. And it's really fun to know if they got it or they didn't. But I will give you this. Yesterday's theme, or this year's theme I should say, had a lot of people confused. Not just the ones who don't follow high fashion. It had a lot of people wondering what is going on.
First of all, I wanted to pitch a tent and go to sleep because they were like, it's camping time. And I'm like, okay, I'm done with camping.
Camp meant exaggeration. It did not mean pitch a tent and go to bed.
I think at one point asked you, I'm like, are we gonna have a bonfire?
That's true.
Where's the s'mores?
That's true. You did.
We're camping. Where's the s'mores? Because I want s'mores. I'm okay with s'mores. So I learned after a bit of research what camp meant, and then I went back and revisited the pictures that I completely didn't understand the first time. So what? I'm gonna you explain camp because I'm gonna butcher it again.
No, try it, and then I will jump in.
It's taking the exaggerated and exaggerating it more.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's going. It's taking crazy to a whole different level. It's taking art to a whole different level.
So it's actually fashion meets art on a person.
Well, I mean, so
Or is it like, is art the theme, or is it specific? Is it more to do with whatever theme you're choosing? It's exaggerating that theme to the highest.
not really. So Met Gala on its own is fashion meets art.
Right.
Always.
Right.
But then every year there's always a topic. There's always something that has some sort of importance in fashion that they work with as a theme. But this time, camp itself just means over the top exaggeration.
So let's actually take a look at a couple of outfits.
Why don't you show your
And
favorites?
both of them. Yeah.
And then we'll show you the ones that we agree and we like disagree on.
Well, we don't agree on a lot of them, but I'll flip this one around so hopefully you guys can see it. This was one of the most interesting ones. I mean, they're all interesting, but this one was super interesting. And I'm sure you've seen it on Instagram. Basically, what it is there's a gentleman holding his own head.
Okay, imagine you walk into a party and you have your own head with you. How freaking cool is that?
I would have it with me, it'd be on my shoulders.
Yeah,
on top of my neck.
you're just like walking like this. Like, hi, this is me, and this is me again.
Okay, so when you explain it as it's, okay, let's take an extreme and make it even more extreme. Fine,
This is, but this is not that extreme.
So someone who doesn't understand or know sort of the fashion world and know some of the deep intricacies of it, or maybe even at a sort of a mid-level, like give them, there is a background, because after we talked about it, I understood it a little more. But there's a background to why this happened and why Jared Leto put this outfit together.
So his is not, okay, so in my opinion, it's really not that extreme. What he did was, so Gucci's fall winter 2018 show, all the models had their own heads walking down the runway, and they had their like theme towards it and like all that like fun stuff, and it was actually really cool. So he just imitated that. So in my opinion, that's nothing like, oh my god, he did something extreme. Like, that's not camp enough for me, personally speaking.
That's not camp enough. So that's a new phrase, ladies and gentlemen. You can quote that. Rashi Bindra came up with the phrase called "That's not camp enough for me." So all of a sudden now you're like the master of camp.
Absolutely not.
Everything camp has to go through Rashi. I'm trying to go back here on my page.
Imagine, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. So the other one I wanted to sort of point out just from a men's styling standpoint. Now, keeping in mind that camp is meant to be the extreme of this extreme, one of my favorite actors and one of my favorite shows is Amari Hardwick from Power, and this was his outfit. So I'm going to turn this around just so those who haven't seen it can get a quick glimpse at it. Again, we'll post all these on our Facebook so you can take a look at them later. And if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, our Facebook page is facebook.com/elevatedgrape. So you can reference all the pictures. They'll have the date of the live show, which is May 7th. So you can see all these pictures. But, okay, so Amari Hardwick. We both looked at this.
It's nothing.
So it's not extreme. So I didn't really understand. This is one of the ones maybe you're talking about where the theme wasn't understood.
Well, it's not only about the theme not being understood, but unless he has a very subtle personal style, which I think you may know better than me on it, but from a camp perspective, he didn't really work the theme at all. There was nothing over exaggerated about this. He just looked like he decided to wear like a green colored outfit and show up somewhere.
Well, to me, it looks like he stole the curtains from a 96-year-old woman's house named Beth.
Well,
okay, so I don't totally understand the outfit. Like even if
like Bet's curtains basically.
So maybe the theme was extreme curtains
for him.
Yeah, like unless I'm missing something here with his outfit.
It's like when Kim Kardashian wore her outfit, and we're just like you put zero effort, right? So same thing with this one.
I got an agreement on there. Thank you for agreeing. That's Vinay. Thank you.
And a lot of people think Rashi nailed it. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. So if you've seen it, give us a couple of your opinions for those that have seen it on Instagram, the better version of the picture. Because I tried to show you on the phone, but we have a couple of agreements with both of us. But what are your actual thoughts on this? Because to me, I understand the color contrast he's trying to go with the gold pattern and the gold vest underneath. The suit itself fits fairly well. I mean, there's some things I would change about the way the pants are done.
Yeah, like that part.
Yeah.
Unless that's intentional, but that fits like a bit weird, and we'll like get into men's style and
we'll touch on some of these things.
later
Yeah,
on,
absolutely.
yeah.
And then to me, I think if you're looking at this outfit, I think the shoes are a weird pick. So he's wearing these maroonish colored shoes with green pants and a gold blazer.
Okay, so he's like a Christmas tree as well.
No, I think that's the the root at the bottom of the tree.
Yeah.
You stand in the stem.
Yes, it's that.
Maybe he's trying to get a tree.
Oh no! He's probably trying to be those environmental friendly type of trees, because that bark is like it's like not very barky, but it's like still there, and you like put the presents on.
Okay, at the risk of stating a pun, we've given him too much power.
Let's just move on with that one.
So one of our favorites, one of my favorites.
Oh dear God.
Let's talk about Cardi B, because I know it's a men's styling show, but we're going to talk about this style for a second.
She looked.
No, let's show the picture first, for those that may or may not have seen it. All right, so we're going to turn this around, and there is
Cardi B.
Cardi B and all this other stuff that Cardi B is surrounding herself with.
I swear to God, it looks like she is like surrounded, or she's in a womb. She's about to like come out of someone's womb. It is like placenta right there. That's what that looks like. And that whole idea of what she's trying to do, I'm sorry, but Rihanna did it a few years ago when she wore that yellow like outfit that people make fun of, but it actually fit the theme then. But this is just like, nah. I expected more from Cardi. I'm sorry. I actually really expected more from her.
So, given your synopsis of the outfit, interestingly enough, stating that it's a womb, I kind of want to lie down in it and roll around. Like, I look at it and it looks so comfortable.
Okay, so we're definitely never having dinner ever again with each other.
Right, but look, I mean, the dress. Okay, the dress has it's fitted well around the waist. It has it tightens it a bit, and then it comes out like.
Do you want to ask your mom how she gave you birth?
No,
because that's exactly what it looks like right now.
But does it look comfortable? Even our video guy in the back, when we had this conversation earlier, he agreed with me.
So
thank you, Vinay. I appreciate that you agree with me.
No.
Look, at the end of the day, it's a comfortable looking dress. It literally looks like a quilt.
It looks like she is about to come out of a womb.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're not going to agree on that one.
We're not.
Is there any other of those artists you'd like to talk about? Because I got an agreement on that last one, so I'm going to take a point.
Someone agreed with you again, but then someone also said LOL Rashi. So,
course.
there you go.
Because, you're making no sense. It was fun to laugh at you.
Excuse me, I am making tons of sense. Okay. Ask your mom how she gave you birth. That's all I'm
definitely not having that conversation. Right? Can you stop having that conversation, period? I would like to continue the rest of the podcast instead of ending it right there. Okay. So, any other people you want to discuss?
Oh, Katy Perry's like chandelier dress. Okay, see, this is camp. Like, this is campy enough. I don't know if you guys can see it here, but if you guys cannot see it,
pull it closer.
Go and Google her outfit. I actually really liked it.
So what she did, if you couldn't see that picture, but if you've seen it before, she has a chandelier ring around her waist and then a chandelier ring around her head.
And
actually a very nice dress underneath that.
Yeah, and it's all like beads and glass, like how an actual chandelier would be.
Yeah.
And I think to her point was, that sound of hers about the light and all that stuff? Oh, that fireworks sound?
Yeah.
I think she's referencing that and camping.
Next time, do you want to research songs before you talk about them? Katy Perry had a song? I can't even speak right now.
But I'm pretty sure we all know which song I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I liked her outfit.
Well, I agree. That one I 100% agree with.
I liked her outfit. I liked Priyanka Chopra's outfit as well. I think she also nailed it. She nailed it. Again,
that was me throwing up because I think Priyanka Chopra did not.
That is campy.
That was not campy.
Yes, she looked like an over-exaggerated clown. That is called campy.
No, she looked ridiculous. She looked ridiculous.
No. What's her face? What's her face like?
Let's call a spade a spade. Ridiculous is ridiculous.
That she did not look ridiculous.
Have you ever watched that Mad TV show where the guy goes, "The back of your head looks ridiculous"? For those who watch Mad TV, you know that. The back of your
Okay, we're gonna move on to
Priyanka Chopra look
actual men's
ridiculous.
styling now. Thank
Okay.
you. Okay, there we
We're
go.
done with Met.
Yes, we
And I
are.
can mock all of them all day long.
But that's the
I know. No, I do get it. I do get some of the points on there, but like I said, some of the outfits they worked if you think about it from an exaggerated standpoint.
They absolutely did.
And some of the outfits, like you said, they missed the theme. But to the folks that missed the theme, I think a lot of it boils down to it's a difficult theme to understand as well.
Well, realistically speaking, I think that's when you can dig a bit deeper and be like, okay, what is their everyday style? What is their everyday red carpet look? If it's very simple, then those who tried to push the envelope yesterday, which was not campy enough for us, but for them it was campy enough.
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's what it really
So that's where sort of I'll segue this to the next topic is style is also very subjective. Right, like there's no one way from my perspective, at least style can be categorized. Like just because a person dresses a certain way, just because I may not think it works or it doesn't make sense from someone else's eye, may be like, well, that actually works.
But
I can see
again,
what they're going for.
To an extent, right? And this is where, so like even with like personal styling, there's always certain rules and guidelines that you do
Sure.
follow. Same thing for fashion. There's always a history behind what a fashion designer is trying to do.
Right.
There's always some history, there's always some emotion, there's always some story. It's just now we are in such a fast-paced world that we don't take the time to understand it. But those who were there before social media and all that stuff, every piece of clothing there is like some history behind it.
Oh yeah, it started from somewhere, from some designer,
Exactly,
from
there
some
you go.
runway, some line. Like probably right down into like the V-neck t-shirts and the crew neck t-shirts. Like it's somewhere someone along the line said, like, I'm gonna change this and add this sort of shape to it, right?
Right.
So yeah, there's definitely some basics, which is some of the stuff we're gonna get into now. Thank you, sir. And there is that was our video guy. He's agreeing with me. I appreciate him.
Dear God. I am outnumbered here.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. But going into some of the basics, and again, and this is where we want to have and keep this discussion open with those that are watching as well right now. If you are listening on Spotify or iTunes or watching on YouTube, hit up our email addresses, go back to our Instagram pages and throw some comments in, or to the pictures that are on the Facebook page that you're referencing. You can throw some comments in there, or on our YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, throw some comments in there. Because obviously we want to make this as interactive as possible, and that's why we're doing it live, just to restate that. Because those that are watching right now, we didn't anticipate to have a huge turnout the first time around, and hopefully that will grow. But for those that are watching, we want to make sure that you're getting something out of it and you're able to jump into the conversation too. So we're going to jump into some men's basics.
Okay, so you are the expert of personal men's styling, given the fact that all your clients and your list, which we do not always talk about because we cannot mention some of them. So as a girl, if I walk in and I see a room full of guys, and that sounded wrong, but if there are
We've now to The Bachelor, starring Rashi.
my mom would be very happy.
Yeah.
For like I have a big thing about having a guy who is well dressed.
Right.
For me, that is the first thing I see. Like his shirt, his shoes, his pants, his belt, his fit, his style, before he even opens his mouth. If I don't care how amazing you are, but if you look like a homeless person, do not talk to me. So
Okay. We're not pretentious at all on the show either.
Hey, I have standards. So what are some of the all year round basics?
So again, I think to a degree, going back to the initial comment that there is a little bit of subjectivity to this, but I still think there's, at the core, there should be some things that you have in your closet sort of at all times. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to work for every outfit or they're going to be what you wear every, if you rotate them sort of over the course of the week. It's the go-tos that are easy without thinking if I drop this combination on, it's going to work. Right? At least you're going to be presentable, you're going to walk in looking decent. And again, some of our future topics, we're going to get into a little bit more about sort of body shapes and body styles and how to best meet what your lifestyle and body shape and maybe even your occupation or whatever the case is. So this is, again, not really specific to some of those things. It's just what every person could probably use to have in their closet as a base. So I think what we should do is just sort of go top down. Just build sort of from the tops you wear to going forward. So season-wise, I mean, you can interchange these within the season, but I think every guy should have 4 basic t-shirts. And you can be... Now, whether they're crew neck or V-neck, that's something you got to see which suits you when you put it on. But I think color-wise, you need to have 4 basics. And those, and I made a couple notes here because I'm very forgetful, but white, white, black, navy, and a gray, a light, or maybe like a regular gray. Because I think these are colors, again, that they're neutral. They can mix and match with other things. They can mix and match with different pants and different types of denim, different types of like whether you're a chino or a khaki, or even if it's a sweatpant, if you're doing a little more casual, having a few simple V-necks are easy. And a lot of times I'll just, even I'm going out to an evening to like a lounge or a restaurant, I'll throw that on underneath a blazer, or I'll throw that on just on its own, maybe with like a waist level bomber type jacket, which I'll take off later, and the t-shirt still looks good because it still suits the style with the right pair of jeans that can work when you're out, right? So I think that's important because you can use it sort of daytime, you can use it whether you're going to a mall, you can use it when you're sort of out and about with some friends, or if you're just sort of relaxing and doing some simple stuff, chores and that sort of thing. So I think those as basics, and those colors in specific are super important because, again, they can mix and match with different types of outfits.
So girlfriends and sisters and friends who have male friends, if you guys ever want to give them clothing, I think this is a part that you guys should reference. Because I know in the past I've had trouble buying men's clothing, whether it's for my brother or for my dad or something. I always get confused.
Yeah.
And then another thing, for someone who may not necessarily know how to shop for men,
stick to the basics.
Where do you purchase stuff? Like we always hear that, all these, like all the basics have to be an investment. Do you agree with that? Like,
I agree. So I'm going to answer that question by adding something to it. So I also think that it's important to have in sort of the button-down shirts, the similar colors. Right? Because the button-down shirts can be acted as a little more formal. If you roll up the sleeve, a little more casual. But the same colors, your black, your white, your navy, and a gray. Whether you're going to wear them on its own, out hanging out of not tucked in, or whether you're going to wear them with a sweater or something on top. It's neutral colors that can go with a lot of different types of items. So it's easy to dress and to match, right? You have a black shirt, you're throwing on a blazer, it becomes formal, right? You're wearing a white shirt with a blazer with a nice little lapel on it, throwing a bow tie, all of a sudden now you have a formal shirt, right? So you can do that. And then I'm going to get a disagreement on this piece. I am not a big fan of spending a lot of money on the simple white shirt. The reason is because, or maybe even simple black shirt. The reason that I feel that, and I know people will disagree, I think it's nice, I think it's important, as you expand your closet, to have a couple of the more expensive, invested white shirts that you're going to wear out to a bit more of a formal environment. But for the ones that you're going to rotate on your day-to-day within the month, so you use a white shirt 3 times a month, the wear and tear on that is quite aggressive, right? Because you're wearing it every day if you're at the office, for example, and you're going to be using it as part of your outfit at the office. Whether you have elbow sleeve problems and they rip, or just just standard wear and tear, like it gets a little bit loose, the collar gets a little bit frail. Those things kind of happen.
So when should you make large investments in basic men's?
Yeah, I mean, so I do agree with, I will own some white shirts in my closet that are the better investment, higher quality, but then I'm not wearing those on the daily basis, right? So keeping in mind, we're talking about style basics for the everyday. So if we're talking about a shirt that you're going to rotate within your, like a white shirt, you may rotate it within your wardrobe somewhere between 3 to 4 times a month. Maybe you're wearing it once a week, right? Depending on what your occupation is or how often you need to get into that. And if that's the case, then, if you're going to have to replace it because of the wear and tear on a seasonal basis, because everybody, we're going to get a little bit personal, but everybody sweats. Everybody has, those kind of things, and those kind of things do affect the shirt. Like I won't keep a shirt that long for some of these reasons. I've done that investment where I bought expensive white shirts, for an example, and I've kept it for almost the same period of time as an H&M $20 shirt, and I've gotten the same use out of them. But now those expensive white shirts, I don't, you're not going to use them on, for me at least, I don't use them on my day to day. I use them more for events, or if I'm looking to dress up a little bit more.
So when you, let's say, shop the closet for like one of your clients, example, and his lifestyle is what we have for most men, where they are like, they're doing the whole 9-to-5 thing, and they have a social life afterwards, and they want to just go from the office or from their like business and drinks, and then whatever it is. How do you make their lifestyle or their dressing very easy and very simple.
So and that's where I go down to, like, I mean, we're keeping it quite simple on this because obviously for a lot of guys that do work, I mean, their closet's already gonna have some things outside the basics that we're discussing, and they're gonna suit their style and that sort of thing. So for me, it's like I'm talking about the straight rotational basics. I mean, you're gonna have some checkered shirts, you're gonna have some with window pane, some with stripes, all that kind of stuff. So you may you're gonna have things outside of the basics. I'm just talking about your basic rotational to put underneath a sweater, to throw underneath a blazer, to wear as a simple no thinking. I'm gonna wear put on this white shirt today, put on a navy blue shirt today to the office. It's easy. And that's an easy, like, if I'm wearing that, and I can easily go out for drinks afterwards with some friends, depending on the way. And we're going to talk a bit about jackets and blazers and that sort of thing.
And shoes and
and shoes, yeah. So again, that's an easy way to transition that from sort of office to going out. Same thing we talked about with the t-shirts, like, and specifically those are why I mentioned those colors, because it's not difficult to transition that into
an evening wear.
Yeah, doing something else after what like if you're running around during the day. I mean, obviously, hopefully, you get the chance to shower because you've been running around and doing stuff. Let's just say you don't, and you're like, well, I'm wearing this like a black sort of V-neck. I got some jeans that are okay for, like, doing a bar thing afterwards, and you're wearing maybe like a waist level jacket because it's a little bit chilly that day, nothing too long, but just sort of complements the rest of the outfit. Easy, you look like you can easily go out. Right? Maybe at the most you want to keep a change of shoes, that the daytime shoes that you're running around in, so they're comfortable, and then you want to have something that's going to be a little bit more dressed up, so you can be in the bar or the evening environment. Obviously, this is assuming you don't get time to go back and change and shower and put deodorant and stuff on. Although I do recommend to keep lots of deodorant in your car all the time.
You know what? And to your point, the only one thing I like, and maybe this will have its own topic of discussion, is that, like, men with stripes and men in checkered shirts. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think I think it really depends on how you do those prints, because it can age you like there's no tomorrow, and it's like an uncle is walking, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is a little weird, and it can make you look extremely sexy and very, very attractive. So I think that's those sort of patterns, guys do need to be a bit careful.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're gonna do in the future shows, actually, we're gonna specifically to that, is I'm gonna take the blazer and break it down into the different types of blazers, when certain things are appropriate, when they're not appropriate, patterns versus non-patterns, brocade versus non-brocade, your lapels, the different types of lapels, and when to use them, and what appropriate timings are for you to use them, collars with your shirt, what type of collar is appropriate in which environments. So again, like I said, today's is sort of keeping the general basics every day,
of everything.
And keeping in mind and understanding that this doesn't answer every question for every situation. It's like, what should I have in my closet so I can interchange and keep it an easy transition from daytime to evening, quote unquote, party time, or whatever you want to call it, and from every day to moving into an evening environment, right? And variations of those types of clothes that can be used in different situations. Some of the things you're talking about, we're definitely going to get into that in some of the other shows, and we'll actually break out the different blazer types and what makes sense.
So then, what about shoes?
Yeah. Shoes are fun.
You want to tell me?
Shoes are a fun topic.
I mean, I personally, unless it's like runners.
Yep.
And those sort of comfy shoes for guys. When it comes to men's basics, I feel even I sometimes need to, like, reference something, despite being on set and doing all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
It can get a little overwhelming.
So I'm a big fan of a properly tailored / tapered pant when you're dressing to work. Depending on the body type and the length, I mean, how much you taper it, and where and how it makes sense varies. So we'll talk about that specifically on another show. But for me, if the pant is tapered well for whatever type of body type, to me, like, for me at work, I love sort of like the penny loafer. So I think the easy slip on.
Yeah, the easy slip on type.
I do have a picture of it here. I just don't know if it's going to be visible. It's a little bit small. We will post it on our Facebook. But
we have that on our Facebook page as a reference.
So it is there. Yeah, there's
check that out.
Yeah, there, and it shows different types of shoes. So specifically the penny loafer, I think, is super important from a daytime work environment if you're working in an office environment. I do think that every person should also have like a minimalist runner. So something, again, you can throw on with the right pair of jeans that you're going to be running around and doing your errands, doing your chores, and it works with your. It works, and honestly, if it's the right runner, it'll work with the t-shirt. It'll work with like a sweater, like a crew neck sweater. It'll work with even a button down shirt. If left out, like you can fix that with a variety of different types of outfits and make it look like almost casual chic to a degree. Right. So a minimalistic runner that will work with the type of pants. And again, we'll get into some of that in some future shows about what type of runners are right for the type of situation that you have. In terms of a boot, and I got to give my cousin Sahil reference for this because he has one of the nicest like Chelsea boots that I've seen.
Really?
And he wears it really well with his pants and the way he's structured them. But the Chelsea boot, which is sort of like that ankle length boot for a guy, and it's you mostly see them in sort of the tan color, and they have that almost like that stretchy like material almost at the top. Anyways, there's a reference to it on our Facebook page. It's under the dress boots. The Chelsea boot to me, I think, is a major staple, and especially because that will take you're out in a runner in a day. You drop that with the right pair of jeans, and even if you're wearing a t-shirt and you're wearing like a bomber, for example, style jacket, you're good to go for the evening, and you will turn heads.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that you are speaking from experience about turning heads, and we all know about that. And then
Do you actually just go there?
Well, come on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's elevated rate.
Let's go into socks.
There you go. We have no filter.
No filter whatsoever. Zero. It's meant to be that way. Okay, so let's have a quick discussion around socks because I don't want to this is a topic that I did want to touch on, and I didn't want to run out of time before touching on this. So I think every guy should own a no-show sock or a whole bunch of no-show socks.
So what did you tell me? If a guy does not own that, he should do what to his closet?
He should throw out his whole closet. Every single piece of clothing or article that he owns, throw everything out. Drop everything, go buy those socks first, and then rebuild your closet.
No, and then hire him, and then I'll tag in because we need someone to control this guy.
It's good to have a female perspective.
That's also true, and we will then redo your entire closet.
These eatable popcorn things are really good.
They're actually really good.
I'm on a cut right now, which a bunch of us are supposed to be on. But these popcorn are
and I've not been doing very well on that cut.
These are not supposed to be on there, but we're eating them. Okay, so the no-show socks are the ones that sort of sit at the base of your foot and essentially don't show under your shoe. My test for no-show socks, and this is super important, are always Toms. Because Toms, for a guy, have like the widest amount of, or the most amount of foot showing at the bottom. And if your no-show socks can fit within a Tom shoe, for the most part, you're going to be good. It's not going to be, exact science, every single shoe, but Toms...
But more or less, yeah.
Yeah, Toms usually, from my perspective, have the most, skin showing for the guy. So it's really like sexy, because, it's a lot of skin.
Okay, he finds...
So, ladies out there, if you see a guy with Toms, just keep your head up. Keep your head up.
And I guess you're keeping your head up too. Okay, that's a whole different conversation.
So, and then the sock that my go-to for that, if you're sort of in Toronto, is Aldo, because I find Aldo is able to do that. They're able to they build that that no-show sock that hides underneath the Tom.
And just
there may be others. It's just my go-to.
Right, but just to let our audience know that when we reference any store, it's just a personal reference.
Yeah, it's a personal reference.
There's no sponsorship or advertising or all that stuff. We just happen to like these places.
Mine is eatable.
Yes, which we have mentioned, and fashion friendly, which we'll go back to our...
Should we do a giveaway now? Wait a little bit.
Let's touch on the blazers really quickly, and then we'll end it with our giveaway, because...
Okay, and then, sorry, just before we leave off on the socks, I'm going to put up on our Facebook page, I think it's already there.
We have it.
Okay, so there is a reference also to socks. So what we've listed there, and this is off a reference off of an Instagram page that I found, and I found it to be quite accurate, is the no-show sock, the ankle sock, the athletic sock, and the mid-calf sock, and when and how to use them, what to wear them with, and what sort of outfits they sort of work well with. So that's the sock topic. Okay.
Eat for socks.
That's it.
Make sure you have the right socks. If not, he'll come in throughout your wardrobe. There you go.
Absolutely.
Blazer?
Blazer.
Give a quick rundown because I feel that is an entire segment on its own.
For the topic of, or for the purpose of this conversation, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of lump the blazer and sort of even just the overcoat
into one,
just because I want to make sure that we cover that a little bit. Again, keep in mind these are basics. In specific scenarios, depending on what your style purpose is and what you're looking to achieve, we can talk about that and build something specific for you. But just on the basic level, I think every guy should own an overcoat that's sort of knee length, a waist length coat, jacket, bomber style. I'm not going to get into like what is bomber or not, or denim or not, like all that stuff. But a waist length jacket, and then a 3/4 jacket that you can wear simply that dresses up sort of the casual look a little bit. Because again, on an evening out, you throw that on top of like even just a black shirt. Now you have an evening out outfit, right? So I think those 3 jackets are important to have in your closet. I mean, obviously, as you build and expand, you can build into different colors and that sort of thing. But if you're working with sort of the standard colors, like whether one's a khaki or a tan, and the other one's sort of like a black or even like a darker navy. The waist length jacket, I usually like it to be black because it's an easy thing to mix and match with. Just having some staple colors in those 3 styles is very important. Jumping into the blazer, sports coats. A blazer is different than a suit jacket. So that's very important. Again, we're going to touch on that. I'm going to break that down a little bit, but a blazer is different than a suit jacket.
I actually do agree with you on that because I've seen men who'd be like, oh, I'll just wear my and they actually end up wearing their like suit jacket on a pair of like t-shirt and jeans, and you're just like,
what is happening?
Why are you doing this?
The material that you use in a suit jacket is very different. It's more for a formal type of outfit.
It's thinner as well.
It's a thinner. Yeah. I mean, like you can get some of the but again, we'll get into the specifics of materials on blazers and why they're certain blazers or suit jackets not appropriate for sort of like a blazer look. But a sports coat or evening blazer is super important. Night and day look is what it'll give you. And again, think about sort of standard simple colors. For me, a darker blazer like a black or a charcoal gray is sort of easy to mix and match with different things. Like if you have a charcoal, you can easily do a navy blue under it. If you have a black, you can do a white or a black with it, depending on how formal you want it to get. And even a gray would look good under it. The right black sports coat will also go well with the t-shirt. Fitted properly. So I think having again the basic like a charcoal and a black. I think the darker colors in the blazer is a must. Obviously, as you expand your closet, you can get into some of the things we talked about, like the window panes and the stripes and all that kind of stuff, if done properly. But again, keeping in mind that just because you have a suit jacket doesn't necessarily mean it's a blazer. It's not that it cannot be a blazer or used in that environment. It's just too many times you see it done wrong, and then it makes the outfit just not flow, right? Because it's totally the wrong material that you're wearing with the jean.
And then,
or the denim or the khaki, whatever it is, or the chino you're wearing at the time.
And then to quickly kind of close off the topic on the blazers and then go to our giveaway is also going back to my initial statement earlier in the show is that even if you're wearing a pair of like jeans and a white t-shirt, fit is so important.
Yes.
So important. And I think a lot of guys do not understand that. Either their shirts are too tight or they're too loose or they're scared to wear a fitted pair of jeans or something because they feel it may make them look maybe too metrosexual. Like, I'm not sure why they do that, but guys, trust me, girls, we love how men dress. We want to see good looking men around us, just like how you guys want to see girls wearing something nice and fitted and sexy and like attractive. So please know how to fit yourselves. And to that point, what is the rule of thumb when it comes to wearing a blazer or a suit jacket in terms of your sleeves? Because that I find is also a miss a lot of times.
So let's talk a bit about sleeve, and let's also talk about the overall length. From a sleeve perspective, I mean, you can read this almost anywhere. The general rule of thumb is sort of like here on your thumb when your thumb is like at your knuckle when your thumb is down. You want to do that. It may be a little bit too short if it's a suit jacket. Again, so we'd have to that's fitting based on some other
under body types,
style, all that kind of stuff. So again, we'll actually get into detail on that. But if you want a simple rule of thumb, most places that are selling you good quality blazers and or suits will be able to quickly tell you the rule of thumb they'll give you a similar sort of measurement on where your thumb is here. And that's an easy way to tell even for yourself. It's like someone once told me in the toonie in your tire when the tread is low.
The what?
Yeah, it's like you got to know what point. So it's like that's what the blazer and the tire is, that little toonie. If it goes lower than the gold part in the toonie, then you got to change your tire.
Okay, that is one way to
so
reference that.
if you don't use this as your rule of thumb, your jacket may be too short or too long, and that obviously doesn't look nice as well.
No,
so that's a general rule of thumb, and keeping in mind, similar for the button down shirt, because a lot of guys will you'll buy a shirt, you're gonna tuck in, but sometimes you're gonna want to just wear it out. So if you are wearing it out too, like same, you want to make sure that it covers even the blazer. You want it to cover your butt, but you don't want it to be too long past the butt, or too short, like where it's just like too much of your butt is showing. Yeah. Right, because it's got to be the right length, just sort of just below mid range on your butt.
And then also the shoulders, right? Like it has to look fitted, not like oversized or
So shoulders, and you notice sometimes like if you're wearing a blazer and that little crease starts to come up and it digs like almost like inside and picks your shoulder back up. That's usually a tell that it's too big. Shoulder pads are not necessarily the in thing in right now too, so you want to watch for that. In certain types of formal blazers, they do make sense, but again, it's got to be the right look too.
The right look.
Yeah, I know we're giving a lot of information with giving ifs and variables, but it's because we're trying to do a general basics type show. The specifics we'll get into when we talk about a blazer, we talk about a suit jacket, we talk about get into specifics with shoes, we talk into specifics about shirts.
And this is where we want you guys to send us those emails and those DMs and those comments saying, what do you want us to talk about? Like this first podcast, we've kind of done a general overview of what should be in a guy's closet, but now what do you want to know? Like if it's blazers, how do we break that down for you? If it's shirts, if it's jeans, if it's shoes, men's accessories, like all those things, there's a lot more to men's fashion than we actually give credit for, and definitely we do want to hear what you guys want to know as well.
And it's also confusing because you end up like I'll find a piece and I'm like, I just have to have that piece because I know I like it. When I bought it, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then you end up buying it and then eventually you end up figuring out, okay, like this is how I can wear it, this is what I can work it with, this is the type of accessories I'm going to add to it. And sometimes it's just you see it.
Like we have that same problem.
My closet throws up. My closet has clothes everywhere. Like it's all over my room because I don't know how to purge. Different issue altogether.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
Anyways, so for our giveaway.
Yeah.
How are we doing this?
So why don't we? We're gonna do so for those that are watching right now. Thank you for continuing to watch as long as you did and staying online with us. So you are gonna get a giveaway. What we do ask is just so that we make sure we don't miss the few people that are still watching, is just send us a quick DM with just your name that you were here when the giveaway portion was done. And this is only if you're watching live on the date, not if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes weeks or months later.
And we have 2 giveaways this week.
We have 2. So we have one that's unisex, that's available for both men and for women, and then one that is for women.
Yeah, but guys, if you want to give a present to someone, this is actually super cool.
Yeah.
Very handy. She will love you for life. I can guarantee that.
Special thank you to Fashion Foundry for hooking this up.
Yeah,
and they will be our official sponsor. They'll be providing
lots of really cool
for
stuff.
Yeah. So if you are listening on iTunes and Spotify, check out our Instagram so you know when the next live podcast is, so you can join in and win the giveaways too.
Cool. So
you want to show them?
Yeah, but what are they gonna do to get this giveaway?
They're gonna DM us. That's step 1, so we know who they are. Second is they got to bring a friend of theirs and have them subscribe to our Instagram page.
Okay, let's see.
2 steps. That's all.
So
when you DM us, you can tell us who that friend is.
So the first one is this brush. It's for men and for women. I don't know for him how he would use it because he has no hair at this point.
That's right.
But yeah, it's like guys and girls would like really like this too. So this is our first giveaway piece.
Yep.
And there you go.
So we'll have that, and then the second one.
The second one is I got really excited there. It is a mini hair straightener, and to show it even better, you hold this.
Yeah.
So this is how it looks. So this is mine.
Okay, I'll put this one down.
And it comes in a really cool like travel pouch, and you're like traveling and your like friend is driving, just like just do that. See, there you go, it works.
Well, the thing is that if you're a guy and you have long hair, you can also use it.
I was about to say that
Yeah.
actually.
So I don't think it matters whether it's a male or female, but like, that's usually
That's why I said if your friend is driving,
right.
you know,
You can
if
help out.
you can just
Yeah, with those sounds. Listen, when you watch any of our behind the scenes videos, that's just a simple example of a sound that just happens naturally. There's multiple random sounds that will continue to happen. They're not like she doesn't even speak languages. Like now she just makes sounds.
hey, it's called Sounds of Rashi for a
The
reason.
sounds of Rashi.
Maybe I'll win a Grammy one day for it. You never
Just
know.
the sounds of Rashi. You're gonna be
Sounds
your,
of Rashi,
your own
there you go.
background score in a movie. So again, DM us, ask a friend to subscribe to our Instagram page, and just let us know who that friend is, so that we know that they did. And they can, by joining, help you to win
These
this
really
giveaway.
cool products.
And then we'll message you directly on DM, and then just get the coordinates and get these prizes over to you.
Sounds good.
That should be a show on its own. Yeah, it should be the show. The Sounds of Rashi.
Oh
should
my god,
definitely
okay.
be a show on its own.
So this is where we say thank you so much for joining us. And thank you for all the that should be a show on its own. Thanks. Thank you for that. Thank you. I just read it. You still have hair. Okay, that's great. I will continue preaching. Okay.
And
These are
for
very,
whoever
very
said love the brush, again, DM us, get a friend to subscribe
Yes,
to our
absolutely.
Instagram page, and that brush will be yours.
Well, honestly, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was our first live podcast. Our next one is in June, the first Tuesday.
First Tuesday of every month, 9 p.m.
month.
Eastern, live on Instagram.
And for that one, we have a really, really cool guest. He is very well known in the fashion industry. He's super awesome. I personally love him. I will not tell you who he is because then you may not, follow us, and I want you guys to follow us. But yes, definitely tune in on our pages and stuff like that, and you will get to know who our guest is next month.
Yeah, and then all these podcasts, as we mentioned earlier, will be available on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Tunes, and YouTube. So that will be the second Tuesday of the month. So we'll just take a little bit of time to make sure that it's all edited out properly and on those platforms for you to watch. And if you're listening or watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify or iTunes, go ahead to our Facebook page because you're going to reference all the pictures that we talked about in the reference documents we used. And that way you can see what we mentioned here.
Great.
That's it.
And
Thank you so much.
And thank you for all the love and all those nice comments that we've been getting, guys. Honestly, thank you.
And tell all your friends. Bring them here.
Yes.
All of them.
With this.
Because the wheels on the bus go round and round.
Okay, now, let's
Now
just
we're
go.
done.